or suffering the deeds, the actions performed in the previous birth karmas, which are the sanchit karmas, which are the accumulated karmas. Now comes prarabdha. Prarabdha is what we are doing right now. That is the present, the karmas that we are creating now. And this prarabdha leads to agami. Agami means future. So whatever deeds I am doing today will determine the course of my future. Since the karmas have already been performed and there is nothing one can do about them, this I am talking about our prarabdha, our task is restricted to performing of karma. We play no role in deciding the quality and quantum of the timing or the timings of the result. Sanchit karmas are that link us with our fate. Prarabdha are the ones that we are motivated and inclined to perform in this life. Now future is based on the past. Now with everything is determined by the karmas performed by us, a big question comes, that is about free will. We all humans have this called free will. Now when we say that our destiny is decided, or it is the past life karmas that determines our future or our present, then the very big question comes, then what about the free will? How does the free will exercise? Well, let me first give you a little brief about what free will is and how does it exactly works. Free will is the subject to influence of our sanskars. Sanskars means values. Free will actually are determined or are based on our values. Now what are values? Values are the mental impressions caused by our past karmas. Free will gives us the responsibility of choosing between the power of light and dark. It gives us the power to choose between being selfish and being unselfish. We are responsible for the fruits of our current free will choices. For example, our actions on earth are governed by the law of gravity. But that doesn't mean that we are frozen. Because of gravity, we are able to walk, we are able to move. But this movement is our choice, whether we want to move or we don't want to move. We are not frozen. We can walk, that is our free will. But we cannot fly. That is because of the law of gravity. So the nature has its own say and own role. But we all have a free will. The fact that our experiences in the life are governed by the law of karma doesn't mean that we are helpless and at the mercy of fate. But it means that we have a free will within limitations. We can improve our lives, but not without facing the past misdeeds. Man cannot escape responsibility by blaming fate, which generally happens. Generally, when we are facing bad times, we generally blame the fate, that it is because of the fate. No, it's not because of the fate. It is we who are entirely responsible for what is happening in our lives. And we have a complete control over our future as well as our present.
Ma'am, you have 2 more minutes.
Okay, I'll win. Okay. It is for us to make it better or to spoil it. This is our privilege and our responsibility. So our karmas are our responsibility. Coming back to karma, one must remember that karma is conditioned by intent. What is our intention? What is the real purpose of life? Why this cycle of reincarnation? Has anybody thought about it? Why is this life of a reincarnation? Why is that, we keep coming again and again in this world? Well, the aim of life is not attainment of money, luxury or power. But the divine purpose of on earth is to realize our identity and our duty and our role towards the universe, which is much more bigger than we actually perceive it to be. Reincarnation gives us the opportunity to gradually evolve spiritually through the various experiences by acquiring in different reincarnation. A human soul evolves from reincarnation to reincarnation until it reaches beyond all desires. And it is then the chain of repeated birth and death comes to an end and the soul is finally liberated. Thank you.
I request Mridula ma'am.
Good morning, everyone. Everything about karma and reincarnation has been told. I will give you a very interesting story. one more thing I should tell you, that I am running a group on Facebook by the name Reincarnation. And why it comes, here comes the story. My story, it is my own story. It begins from when I was lying on my deathbed in 1945, 30th of March, I died. I died of cancer. And 6th September 1949, I was born again. This was not on schedule, not since everything has been spoken, so I'm giving you my story, something different. And yes, as I was lying on my deathbed, my mother told me, "You're going, you must come back." And I couldn't speak. I said, "Okay." But my mother realized that everyone comes back because we believe in reincarnation. So she said, "You must remember too." I did this. We'll see about it. Who knows whether we can remember or not. But it is the last impression, that's what I think, that we take with us. We come back with those. I'm 66 and a half years old now, and still researchers are coming to me. 2 years ago, one researcher came, and she said, yours is the only case where the death wasn't violent. So people remember those violent deaths, or something where violence has taken place, or either they've left their treasures or something like that. He said, yours is a very normal case. And I told him also, I said, I attribute it all to the last impressions. Now my mother had said, you must come back, you must remember, so comes back everyone, but I remembered too. I was 15 months old when I started speaking. This is too early. This one granddaughter of mine had started speaking at 15 months. And I kept telling my people around, take me to Dehradun. What is there? I've got a koti there, take me to my koti, take me to Dehradun. I've got these things in my koti. My mother thought she's just picked up the word. I was born at Nasik. So she's just learned the word Dehradun. She said, where's your koti? Is it in Bombay? Is it in Ludhiana? Is it in Delhi? No, it is in Dehradun. It's very far off. It is in Dehradun. And this is what I realize now, that our soul does lots of things without our knowledge. Though, we are part of it, or the soul is part of us, but soul guides us or takes us. I was born to parents where the father was dying. If the father was alive, I wouldn't have been able to get in touch with this family. My father died 40 days after my birth. My mother had studied in Dehradun, and my father before dying, he said, you stay alone, don't stay with your brothers, or don't stay with my brother, because you'll not get respect. I'm sorry. My aunt found a job for her in Nairobi, so she was working out her papers, visa and all, in Delhi, where she met her principal. Principal said, oh, you're going to Nairobi, TK, you go, but come to Dehradun. On 1st July, we are having the anniversary functions of the institution, a new institution that I've started. And the Gurukul where my mother had studied was also started by this lady. So my mother said, this girl keeps talking about Dehradun, and because she had a link with Dehradun, she came there, and because the principal asked her to come there. There, my previous birth mother was the president. And on the anniversary day, naturally, she had to come. So as the car came in, I said, see, that's my car. And when my mother got out, I said, see, that's my bhabhi. My sister was also there from previous birth. And I kept moving around bhabhi. Havan happened, I kept sitting next to bhabhi, and I kept playing with the sari. Then my mother asked, mummy asked my sister, she said, have you lost any Bua? Bua is father's sister, because she calls your mother Bhabhi. Now my sister knew who had died and why I called her Bhabhi. So she took me aside and she said, baby, do you know me? I was 2.5 years old at that time. I said, yes, you're Chotu. She was the younger sister. Who are you? I'm Manu. And then after my meetings and all, everything was over, she told Bobby, she said, this is Munu. Bobby said, how can it happen? And you wouldn't believe, how highly educated my two mothers were. I chose a mother who was from the same stream of thought. Both of them were from Gurukuls and very high. My previous mother, who would have been 116 now, was a great orator. And this mother was even at a higher level a Sanskrit scholar. So Bobby won't agree. Bobby said, how can it be? To my sister, and this is something like all the women around, they pushed my mother to send me there. My sister said, we'll take her for one hour. And my mother was reluctant, but the force of everyone around, they took me there, and I wouldn't listen to my mother. I was brought up in such a way that anything my mother says, I would listen to her. But over here, I didn't look at her. I went with them. On the way, we picked up my father, and I said, oh, Pitaji, and I got out of the car. We had to pick him up. He said, "Ye kiska bacha pakad laiye?" He told my sister, whose child have you picked up and from? Okay. Anyway, he was told everything, and they stopped the car at the crossroads before the house. Then I ran in. It was, some parts were renovated, and I said, "No, it's not this." They said, "Come and go in further." And I recognized everything, and to convince Bhabhi was a task. Like, she wouldn't say yes. For 1 month, they kept taking, and we stayed put there where we had to go back to Nasik. She kept taking tests, they would give me photographs when I was young. And I said, yeah, this is when I was young, when I was 2 years old at that time. Then they showed me a photograph in my